Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and show you how to install the Westin E-Series Nerf Bars here on our 2020 GMC Sierra 1500. So we're going to have two different color options here for our Nerf Bars. We're going to have the black ones that we see here. We're also going to be able to choose them with a polished stainless steel finish. Now both of these Nerf Bars here are going to have the 3-inch diameter bar. They're actually made of aluminum, so it's going to be super lightweight. And both options are going to do an excellent job of resisting rust and corrosion. So on each of our step bars here, we're going to have two non-slip pads, one for the front door and one for the rear door. So these step bars are going to be an excellent option, especially for days like today where it's cold and snowy outside, everything's wet, so we have the chance of slipping and falling. This lower step here is going to help us get in and out of our vehicle. And the non-slip pad here is going to give us some nice traction. We don't have to worry about slipping and falling. As you can see here, it makes it nice and easy to get in and out of our truck. I actually have some pretty long boots on here, some pretty wide ones. They are the wide models, so you can see I definitely have plenty of room to get on there. And then the steps themselves are just nice and sturdy. So we actually have a step at the rear here as well, which are definitely going to help with your kids when they're getting in and out of the truck. Again, just providing that lower step height and a little bit better traction getting in and out of the vehicle. So the E-Series here are definitely more of the economical line, meaning they're going to be more affordably priced. They're also going to be a custom fit option, meaning we don't have to do any drilling for installation. So in regards to the actual installation, this is definitely one I think you guys can do at home by yourselves. I've installed quite a few sets of these, and I will say these in particular are super easy. There's only 3 bolts to attach them to the vehicle, attach the brackets to the vehicle, and then you'll have a few more bolts attaching the Nerf bars to the brackets. But overall, it's definitely pretty simple, something you guys can do at home by yourselves with just some standard tools. So now that we've gone over some of the benefits and features of these Nerf bars, let's go ahead and jump into that install so we can show you guys how to do it yourselves. So the first step of our installation, we're going to get everything laid out in front of us. So in your kit, you're going to have a series of brackets and hardware. So for the rearmost bracket here, we're going to be using this tall one that we see here. And then for our hardware, we're going to be grabbing these 1/2-inch hex bolts. We're going to slip on a split lock washer and then a flat washer. But that'll do it for the rearmost attachment. Now we can work our way forward to the front of the truck, stopping here in the center. So this is what our center bracket's going to look like. And then the hardware for our center bracket is going to be the smaller M10 Allen head screws here. We're going to have that conical tooth washer along with the flat washer. And then finally, working our way to the front of the truck here, we're going to have our smaller bracket. Looks similar to the rear, just not as long. And then we'll also have, again, our same 1/2-inch hex bolt, split lock washer, and flat washer. So if we take a look under the vehicle here, we're going to have 3 different attachment points, and they're all going to look the same. They're going to be these body mounts here. These are what actually hold the body to the frame. So we'll have 1 bolt here along with 1 washer. This is going to be the one directly behind the front wheel. And then we have our center mounting point for our center body mount. It's going to be directly behind the rear edge of our front door there, about the center of our frame. And then finally, we'll have 1 more at the rear, which is going to be right up in here, which is just directly in front of our leaf spring mount. So now we're going to take a 13/16" socket. We're going to go ahead and remove one of our body mount bolts. So now that we have our body mount bolt removed, what we're going to do is we're going to take off our washer. And then we're going to take our bracket. We're working at the frontmost attachment point here. So we're going to take the smaller bracket. We're first going to insert our body mount bolt through that bracket. Then on the back side, we're going to follow this up with our flat washer. You'll see the 2 holes on the flat washer there. You don't need to worry about lining those up with anything. But once we have this all together, we can go ahead and simply stick it back up into the factory hole. And then we're going to loosely install it. And I'm going to tighten it down a little bit, but just to hold the bracket snug, we still want to be able to position it, move it left to right. So So now we're going to work our way back. We're going to end up at the center mounting point here. Take the same size socket, remove this bolt. Once we get this out, we're going to take our center mounting bracket. So we'll again take our flat washer off, and then we're going to install our bracket like this. Again, making sure we place the factory washer back over our bolt. And then we'll just lightly secure it into position. And now finally, we have our final attachment point here, which is the rearwardmost one. Take our washer off. Make sure when we're installing our brackets that the flat edge here is facing out away from the vehicle. And I will say, because of the length of this bracket, you're probably going to need an extension on your impact or your wrench to be able to tighten this bolt down. So now we're going to grab our Nerf bar here. Now be sure in the packaging they're labeled for the passenger and driver side. We're working on the driver's side, so just make sure you grab the one that says driver's side. So you can do this with one person. If you have two people, it'll probably help you a little bit, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it on the center mounting point, and I'm going to secure it there first. So I can sort of hold it up with one hand and grab our Allen head screw with the other. You're going to see a little nut inserted into the bottom of the Nerf bar. That's what we're going to be lining up our bolt with. So now that we have our bolt started, I'm going to come back with a 6mm Allen key. Keep in mind you are going to have an Allen wrench in your kit here. We're just using one that goes on the end of a socket because it's a little bit faster. But we'll just go ahead and snug down this screw now. Now we're going to come to either end here. We're going to take our hardware that we got ready earlier. We're going to come around the back side of this bracket. And there's going to be a nut cert that should line up with the inside of our running board, or our Nerf bar. You may need to maneuver the Nerf bar a little bit to get everything to line up, to get your bolt to thread in correctly. And once we get it started, I'm going to come back with a 19mm socket and I'll snug it down. And now we'll come back here to the other side of our Nerf bar and just repeat that same process. So now we're going to begin torquing our Nerf bar to the brackets first. We're going to start with this center bolt here. So we'll come back with our Allen head and we'll torque this down to the amount specified in our instructions. Now we'll come back with our 19mm socket. We'll tighten either the front or rear Nerf bar to the bracket. Now we'll just simply repeat that for the other side of this Nerf bar. So now finally, we're going to come back and we're going to torque down our brackets to the frame. Now in order to save us a little bit of muscle here with our torque wrench, I'm going to be using an impact to snug down all of our fasteners first. So now that we have our fasteners snug, we'll come back with our torque wrench here and we'll torque them all to spec. And now that we've finished the driver's side, we'll simply just repeat that same process here on the passenger side. And that'll do it today for our look and installation of the Westin E-Series Nerf Bars here on our 2020 GMC Sierra 1500.